If you guys leave a like on this video right now and subscribe to my YouTube channel, when the new main box, Infernity Destruction, comes out in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, you'll get a prismatic card from that box. So what are you waiting for? Like and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Watt007 here, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links box review video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new main box that got leaked, Infernity Destruction. This brand new box got leaked on July 27th, the same day that the new count event came out, and this is going to be the next main box for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing all the UR and SR cards in this box, and I might talk about some of the rare and normal cards in this box. And sorry to everybody that's been waiting so long for my box review video. I would have had this video out a lot earlier than I am right now, but due to me being lazy, this video is going to be out now instead of yesterday, so I'm so sorry about that, everybody, but I appreciate everybody that's been waiting for me. And let's just get into today's box review on all these new cards, because I gotta say, this box is actually really cool and I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's go take a look at this brand new main box, and let's take a look at some of the spicy stuff that we can get from this new box. So the first card we're going to take a look at is this card called Demise, King of Armageddon. This is a level 8 Dark Fiend ritual effect monster that states you can ritual summon this card with End of the World. You can pay 2,000 life points and destroy all other cards in the field. This card has 2,400 attack and 2,000 defense. And shout out to all you guys that played Yu-Gi-Oh! In the early 2000s, because some of you guys are going to recognize this card because this card was printed like back in 2004, 2005, and it's cool to see that this card is now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. And I gotta say, it's not too shabby of a card, and I understand why it's a UR card. The fact that you can pay 2,000 life points to destroy all other cards in the field is just really good, especially for the fact that that's non-targetable removal. So if your opponent has a bunch of cards that are immune from target effects, this doesn't matter because it just destroys all other cards in the field, which is just insane. Also, while 2,000 life points is a huge cost for paying this card's effect, it still could be beneficial depending on which skill that you play, because if you play skills like Destiny Draw or Titan Showdown, you can get a huge advantage, because if you play Destiny Draw with this effect, on your next turn you can draw any card you want from your deck. Or if you play Titan Showdown, which is probably going to be the preferred way to play this card, Titan Showdown states that whenever another player has double or more life points than the other player, that player takes double the battle damage. So if you nuke all the cards in the field and your opponent has no Spear Kriba or Kite Ride, you play Titan Showdown, you OTK your opponent with Demise, King of Armageddon. So that's pretty cool right there, and this could be a very deadly deck depending on who is using it with Titan Showdown. Still, this is a ritual card at the end of the day, so due to that, your opponent could still have a lot of ways to out Demise, King of Armageddon. For example, if they have a Spear Kriba or a Kite Ride, that basically stops you from getting that spicy OTK with Demise, King of Armageddon. Also, with this card, you need to first summon it onto the field before you can pay its 2,000 life points to destroy all other cards in the field, because that's an activated effect. So if your opponent has a Canadia or a Floodgate, they can just flip down Demise before you can even trigger the nuke effect, which could be very problematic. And there's a lot of other cards in the game that could possibly handle this too, like if you go against Element Sabers. Element Saber Mulru can just flip this card down before you trigger its effect. So like, this card is going to be good, but there's still a lot of ways to stop this card from popping off against you in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So I like this card. I can't wait to see what decks people build from this card, myself included, but at the same time, there's a lot of ways that this card could get stopped. But still, it's a very cheese OTK that could be a problem in the game, so we'll have to wait and see what unfolds with this card. But still, super cool card, and I can't wait to try to get it in Duel Links. Next up, we're going to take a look at the other UR ritual card from this box called Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, and I gotta say, damn, she's thick. She's a thick waifu right there. Definitely going to be a waifu card to pull right here, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Love the artwork of this card. It is a light level 8 fairy ritual effect monster that states you can ritual summon this card with End of the World. When this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack in a row. This card has 2,300 attack and 2,000 defense. So another card to rock in the ritual deck. It's not that bad of a card, but compared to the King of Armageddon or Demise, King of Armageddon, this card is kind of lacking in my opinion, because it's still a level 8 ritual monster. It has only 2,300 attack, but it can make 2 attacks in a row, which is cool and all, but like, the fact that it has a lacking 2,300 attack just makes me kind of like about this card in my opinion. Still, if you combo this correctly with other cards, this card can be a very deadly card, and you're still going to want to rock it in the deck anyways, because you can utilize this card as tribute fodder for your Demise, King of Armageddon, and this card also can get summoned with End of the World, so there's that synergy there. So you're still going to want to rock this card, but at the same time, I just feel like this card's lacking compared to Demise, King of Armageddon. in my opinion, but still, really cool card. Love the artwork right there. I also like the artwork of Demise, to be honest, so that's really cool right here. And also, I'm kind of brainstorming right here, because Ruin is a light attribute monster, and Demise is a dark attribute monster, so I'm thinking about comboing this in some light and dark decks too, so that could be pretty spicy. Maybe combo it with my boy Chaos Dragon Levianeer, who knows, but still, Ruin is a cool card. I don't think it's as good as Demise, but you're still going to want to get it so that you can easily ritual summon into Demise. And before we stop talking about these ritual cards, I do want to give a mention to a ritual spell card called Cycle of the World that you can get from this box. It's a rare card that states, if this card is used to ritual summon Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, or Demise, King of Armageddon, you must also tribute monsters from your field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So basically, this is just another ritual card to summon into those two monsters, but this card also has a bonus effect that states, during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle this card into the deck, add an End of the World from your deck to your hand, and then you can add a Ruin or a Demise from your graveyard to your hand. This card's really cool. It's going to help you for ritual summoning into the two cards, and you can search out for your End of the World while this card is in the graveyard, and then recycle back when your Ruin or Queen, or yeah, Ruin or Demise from your graveyard to go for some more ritual summoning. So cool ritual card right there. It's nice to see that these or this new ritual archetype has multiple ritual spells. Super cool right there. Looking forward to when all these cards get added to the game. I can't wait to experiment with these cards, that's for sure. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Infernity support that we're getting in this brand new main box. We have a really good UR card and we have a really good SR card for Infernities, but what's funny is that this main box is advertised as an Infernity main box, but there's literally only 3 Infernity cards out of this whole box to obtain from this Infernity box. But still, the Infernity cards that we can get from this box are really good. And speaking of which, the one that we're going to talk about first is Infernity Archfiend, a UR Infernity card that you can get from this box. It's a level 4 Dark Fiend effect monster that states, when you draw this card, if you have no other cards in your hand, you can reveal this card, special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summon, you can add 1 Infernity card from your deck to your hand. You must have no cards in your hand to activate and resolve this effect. This card has 1800 attack and 1200 defense. Now, this card is just extremely good for the deck, and it's going to be a 3 of, that's for sure, for the fact that when you draw into this card, you get to special summon this 1800 attack monster, and then on top of that, you get to add any Infernity card from your deck to your hand so that you can search out for any Infernity monster that you want, and then you can summon it onto the field since you still have your normal summon that turn, which is just absolutely insane. This card is just a really good combo extender. It's a deck thinner. It's a 4-star 1800 beat stick that you can either use to attack your opponent or utilize it for possible synchro summoning shenanigans. When Exceed summoning comes out, you can use it for some Exceed summoning shenanigans. There's just so many things that you can do with Infernity Archfiend, which makes this card just a really good card. So I'm looking forward to attaining this card in the game. Hopefully Infernity Archfiend and the other Infernity card we're going to talk about very shortly will boost Infernities to be a competitively viable deck. We'll have to wait and see though, but I'm definitely looking forward to attaining this card. And then the other Infernity card that we're going to talk about in today's video is the SR card, Infernity Launcher. This is a continuous spell card that states, once per turn you can send an Infernity monster from your hand to the graveyard. You can send this card to the graveyard, then target up to 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. You must have no cards in your hand to activate and resolve this effect. Another really good Infernity card right here, because one, you can utilize this card to pitch cards from your hand to the graveyard so that you can start the Infernity combos, because with Infernities, you need to have 0 cards in your hand in order to trigger their effects, so Infernity Launcher helps out with that. On top of that, if you have multiple Infernity monsters in your graveyard, you can sack off this card to then special summon both of those Infernity monsters from your graveyard onto the field to help you, again, go for some synchro summoning shenanigans. When Exceed summoning comes out, you'll be able to go for some Exceed summoning depending on if the Infernities are the same level, but super good card. So yeah, those are the 2 cards to take a look at. There's also another Infernity card in this box. I think it's like Infernity Gunslinger or something like that. It's a rare card that's not that good, and the only cards you're going to want to go for when it comes to Infernities is just Launcher and Archfiend, 2 really good cards for the deck and going to be core cards of the deck. They're going to want to search out for this box, but then all the other Infernity cards are just from both of the Calends, Dark Signer and Crashtown Calends, so there's that right there. But it's just still funny, for an Infernity box, we're only getting like 3 Infernity cards out of the whole set, but still, these Infernity cards we're getting from this box are really good, so be sure to go snag those cards, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's move on to the next card of today's video. Next up, we're going to take a look at a brand new archetype. Well, it's technically not brand new, but it's going to finally be its own archetype. We're going to take a look at like Simorgh, I think that's what it's called, the Simorgh archetype. We already have a couple Simorgh cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, but all they were is just cards that help out win decks, but now we finally have a bunch of Simorgh cards from this deck, or from this box specifically. It's going to help you go for just going for combos, and it's going to be its own deck now, which you guys will understand when I take a look at all these cards. But first, we're going to talk about the boss monster from this box for Simorgh of Darkness. This card is a dark level 8 winged beast effect monster that states, while face up on the field, this card is also a win attribute. So this is a dual attribute. It's a dark and win, which is really cool. You only can use each of the following effects of Simorgh Darkness once per turn. One effect you can trigger is that if you tribute summon a dark or win monster, you can special summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when the monster was tribute summoned, or hand even if not. So yeah, if you just tribute a dark or win monster, you get to summon this guy for free, which is really cool. Also, when a spell and trap card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can tribute one winged beast monster, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. This card has 2900 attack and 2000 defense. For that second effect right there, you can tribute either Simorgh of Darkness or one of your other win monsters on the field to basically negate that effect. And I think that's really good to have cards that you can negate, so you can stop your spell and trap cards or your opponent's spell and trap cards by just tributing a winged beast monster. And what's cool too is that even if you do sack off Simorgh of Darkness for that effect, you can just special summon him later due to its first effect, which is really cool. Super solid card right here. Love the artwork. I'm definitely interested to try out some more because I think this archetype is really cool, and I'm going to talk about some of the other cards you can get from this box that also boost this archetype pretty well. But yeah, super cool boss monster. Let's go take a look at some of the other Simorgh cards in this box because they're pretty spicy. Next up, we're going to take a look at Simorgh Bird of Unbringing. This is a level 2 winged beast effect monster. When this card is normal summon, you can add a Simorgh card from your deck to your hand except Simorgh Bird of Unbringing. If this card is in your graveyard and your opponent controls no cards in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon this card in defense position but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except winged beast monsters. You only can use each effect of Simorgh Bird of Unbringing once per turn. This card has 1000 attack and 1000 defense. Really cool card right here. This is a really good card for the deck because you get to search out for any of your Simorgh cards except Bird of Unbringing, but you get to search out for your boss monster and you can go from there. Another thing you're going to notice too about all the Simorghs that I talk about in today's video is that all of them, while they're in the graveyard, they actually have an effect where if your opponent controls no spell and trap cards in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon these guys from the graveyard in defense position but banish them when it leaves the field. But that's a really cool effect because then you can just bring them back onto the field and then potentially tribute them off for other Simorgh cards in your deck, which is really cool. So it's going to really get the combos going and really get things going, which is really nice. But yeah, this one right here is a really good searcher. I like this one a lot. Moving on to the SR Simorgh cards, we're going to take a look at Simorgh Bird of Beginning, which is an SR card from this box. This is a win level 1 winged beast effect monster that states, when this card is normal summoned, you can activate this effect. During your main phase this turn, you can normal summon one Simorgh monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You only can gain this effect once per turn. If this card is in your graveyard and your opponent controls no cards in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon this card in defense position but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except winged beast monsters. You only can use each effect of this card once per turn. This card has 0 attack, 1600 defense. What's nice about this card is that it just gives you an additional normal summon for your turn, which is going to be very helpful to summon into some of those Simorgh cards because some of those Simorgh cards are 7-star and 8-star monsters, so you do need to tribute 2 monsters if you don't have any other cards to help you out with that. So that's something to do, pay attention to, but still good card right there. If the UR1, it's clearly better because you get to search for them, but this one's still nice to run in the deck so that you can basically keep tributing off your monsters to keep getting on-board presence on the field. So cool card right there. And then the last Simorgh card we're going to take a look at in today's video is Simorgh Onslaught, an SR spell card that states, discard 1 winged beast monster, add 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 1 winged beast monster in your hand, and if you do, reduce the levels of monsters in your hand with that name by 1 for the rest of this turn, even after if there was summon. You can activate 1 Simorgh Onslaught per turn. Really cool card right here because you get to pitch some of your Simorgh cards into the graveyard, and if you do this turn 1, you can whichever winged beast monster you discard, hopefully it's a Simorgh card, and while you do this turn 1 and your opponent has no spell and trap cards on their side of the field, you can just special summon that one back onto the field, so that's going to get combos going. And then on top of that, this card lets you search for 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes. So you search for the Simorgh card that's a dark attribute, and then you just get one of your Simorgh cards that's like a searcher or whatnot, and then you can just start building up your field and get a bunch of Simorgh monsters on the field, which is really cool. So super good spell card. Definitely going to be a 3-up that you're going to rock in this deck because you get to start off combos and you get to search out for cards, which is really good too. So super cool card right here. Definitely going to be useful to get. And so far, I'm really liking the Simorgh archetype. These SR and UR cards that we got from this box are really cool in my opinion. And on top of that, we also have some other Simorgh cards that are rares in this box too, so you can build like a really cool Simorgh deck, that's for sure. So I'm going to probably experiment with these guys if I pull all the cards, because I think this archetype is pretty cool in my opinion, so I'm looking forward to it, that is for sure. But yeah, super cool deck right here, can't wait to see what they will do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Fingers crossed that they can be a new meta deck, I'm not too sure if they will, but fingers crossed that it can happen. The next card I'm going to take a look at is this card called the Weather Painter Snow. This is a UR card from this box. It's a level 3 Earth Fairy effect monster that states, when this card is normal summon, you can place one The Weather spell and trap from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. You only can use this effect of Weather Painter Snow once per turn. Once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field to activate the Weather card's effect, you can special summon this banished card. This card has 0 attack and 2200 defense. Now this card right here is very interesting because when I talked about this on my live stream the other day, I wasn't too sure how good this archetype's going to be, and I think this archetype by itself is not going to be that good of a deck, but if comboed correctly in other decks, like maybe Invoked, this could be a very deadly deck, because later in the video, and actually very shortly, we're going to talk about some of the other, the weather cards that you can utilize to combo with Pain or Snow to really get things going and to be really toxic against your opponent. But yeah, this card's good because you get to search out for a weather card or a weather spell and trap card from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone, which is really good because there's some really powerful the weather trap cards and there's some really good the weather spell cards for your deck, so the fact that Pain or Snow can just search for it and get it on the field right away is just insane. And then on top of that, its last effect that states, once per turn during the standby phase of the turn this card was banished from the field, to activate the weather card effect, you can just bring this card back onto the field. Also really good too, because then you can continuously cycle and continuously use your weather cards over and over and over again to really mess up your opponent's like plays and whatnot. So that's really good right there. So this card is extremely good for the deck. Like I said, I don't know if this deck will hold on its own, but comboed with other archetypes could be pretty spicy, that's for sure. And while we're talking about the weathers, let's go take a look at the SR and the SR spell and trap cards that the weathers have to their disposal. Let's go take a look at them. First, we're going to take a look at the Weather Thundery Canvas, which is a really good continuous trap card that states, the weather affect monsters in your main monster zones of this card's column and adjacent columns gain this effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you could banish this card, return that opponent's monster to the hand. You can control one the Weather Thundery Canvas. Now this card is just really good for the fact that it gives all the weather cards this effect where you get to bounce your opponent's cards back to the hand, and since this happens at the start of the damage step, I believe that no damage actually gets calculated, because while your 0 attack Snow is just an innocent monster that's about to get destroyed, you just trigger the Thunder effect, or the Weather Thundery Canvas's effect, to just bounce the card back to your opponent's hand. They gotta resummon that monster depending on like which monster they summon. If they did like a Synchro monster or something like that, then they gotta like resummon it altogether. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to deal with for your opponent, but then you just banish Snow and then you special summon Snow back onto the field on your next turn, and then you have both your Thundery Canvas and Snow on the field just chilling, and you can just continuously cycle the effects over and over and over again. So like, it's really toxic. It's going to be super annoying to deal with, and I could see this being used in like stall decks, and I can see this being used in like invoke decks. So it's going to be interesting to see what people are going to come up with, because this deck by itself, I don't think it's good, but if combos correctly in another deck, it's going to be super annoying to deal with. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, that's for sure. But let's go take a look at the other Thunder card, or the Weather card in today's video. So the Weather Snowy Canvas is an SR continuous spell card that states, the weather affect monsters in your main monster zones of this card's column and adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card, quick effect, add one weather card from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of the turn except by drawing them. You only can control one Weather Snowy Canvas. So basically what's interesting about this card is that you can summon Snow, summon or activate the Weather Snowy Canvas from your deck, and then utilize this card's effect to then search for another weather card, so you can just keep thinning out your deck like crazy. So this card by itself isn't anything special in my opinion, but it helps out to thin your deck like crazy so that you can draw into the cards that you need to. So that's pretty cool right there. So definitely going to be an interesting card. I don't know if you're going to want to rock 3 copies of this card, maybe 2, maybe 1. I'm not too sure yet, but yeah, it's a really good deck thinner card, that's for sure. Well, I'm done talking about the weather cards. I think it's a cool deck, but I don't know how well it's going to play out until we actually get the cards for that archetype. But next up, we're going to take a look at X-Sabers, because X-Sabers actually got some new support. And the first card I'm going to talk about for X-Sabers is X-Saber Erblium or something like that. I may or may not have mispronounced it, but we got this tuner monster right here for X-Sabers. This is a level 3 Earth Beast tuner effect monster that states, if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, discard one random card from your opponent's hand. This card has 1600 attack and 200 defense. defense. So just by itself, it's a really good Earth 3-star tuner monster with a really good effect. It has 1600 attack, so by the off chance you don't synchro with this guy, you can just do some direct damage to your opponent and then discard a random card from their hand, which is really good. So I think this is like a good generic tuner monster for the game, which is awesome. But at the same time, for X-Sabers, I don't know if X-Sabers needed this, really. Like, it's a good tuner monster, and you're going to want to rock it in X-Sabers, but, like, will this make X-Sabers a meta deck? Probably not, but it's still cool to see this card in the game, that's for sure. Honestly, the only thing I can think of is just to combo this card with the Psychic Wielders and the Psychic Tracker. That synchro deck, I think this card would be a great card to rock in that deck. Other than that, for X-Sabers, I really don't know. We'll have to wait and see, that's for sure. But still, cool card and to have in the game, and I'm happy to see this card in the game now. Also, before we stop talking about X-Sabers, there's actually a couple SR X-Saber cards that we need to take a look at before we switch to the next UR card. So let's go take a look at them. The first SR card for X-Sabers we're going to take a look at is this normal trap card called Godum's Emergency Call. If a face-up X-Saber monster is on the field, you can target 2 X-Saber monsters in any graveyard and special summon both of them to your side of the field. So this is going to help out to go for some awesome synchro summoning, so pretty cool card right there. And then the other SR card we're going to take a look at is Saber Hole, which I think is a little better than the previous SR trap card, because this card states activate if you control a face-up X-Saber monster. You can negate the summon of a monster and destroy it. So if you go for, or if you summon a couple X-Saber monsters turn 1, set Saber Hole, you can stop your opponents from normal summoning their monsters and then stop them from going for combos. So I like that right there. These cards are actually really good for X-Sabers, so I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, though, I don't know if X-Sabers are going to be meta deck, but these new cards for the archetype are definitely a welcome for the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in action in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Now, the last UR card we're going to take a look at in today's video is this card called Ribbon of Rebirth. This is an equip spell that states during the end phase, if the equipped monster was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard this turn, you can special summon it from the graveyard to your side of the field. Now, this card is really cool and makes me a little nostalgic because this card was actually released in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Warrior Strike Structure deck way back in the day when I was a younger kid, and most of us were pretty young because I was like over 10 years ago. But this was in that Warrior Strike Structure deck that introduced Geminis and whatnot into the game, or not, well, not introduced Geminis, but added Gemini support. You guys catch my drift. But yeah, this card was in that structure deck, so I recognize this card, and I think it's really cool to see this card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. It's not that bad of a card whatsoever, though. The fact that this is basically like a Monster Reborn that you equip to your monster, because yeah, you just equip this equip spell to your monster. If it gets destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you just bring it back onto your side of the field, which is really cool. Gonna be a very interesting card to see which decks it works well with. I'm gonna try it out in Geminis. I don't think this will really help out Geminis too much, and it will most likely help out other decks a lot better, but still, I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see what combos people come up with Ribbon of Rebirth. It's definitely going to be a good UR card to go after for, depending on which decks that you play. But yeah, really cool card. I can't wait to see this in Duel Links. Now, the next card we're going to take a look at from this box is this SR card called Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon, which is really weird but cool to see that Odd-Eyes is getting added into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. The sad thing is that since we're getting Odd-Eyes, rip the chances of an Arc 5 world, it seems like, because why would they add a bunch of Yuya Sakaki's cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links way before there's even a possibility of getting an Arc 5 world in Duel Links, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why they're doing it, but I'm still happy to see Odd-Eyes in the game, because Odd-Eyes is actually one of my favorite decks from the TCG. Still, nonetheless, let's go take a look at Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon. This card is a light level 7 dragon effect monster that states, if this card is in your hand, you contribute 1 light monster. Send 1 Odd-Eyes Dragon from your hand, deck, or your side of the field to the graveyard, and if you do special summon this card, when this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. This card has 2800 attack and 2000 defense. Now, I gotta say, I really like this card, and I'm gonna try this out in some light and dark decks because of the fact that you can special summon Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon by attributing 1 light monster. When you do that, you send an Odd-Eyes Dragon from your deck, hand, or your side of the field to the graveyard to special summon this guy, and that means you have a dark and light monster in your graveyard, because fun fact, Odd-Eyes Dragon is in this box. We're not going to talk about him in today's video with like its effect and how good it is. It's only going to be good comboing with Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon, but yeah, you can use Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon to pitch that dark Odd-Eyes Dragon to the graveyard, pitch that light monster that you summon onto the field, and then special summon Saber Dragon. And a couple combos you can do is that if you're comboing this in a light and dark deck or a Chaos Dragon Leviathan in your deck, you can normal summon Eclipse Wyvern, tributes it off with Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon special ability, send that Odd-Eyes Dragon through Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon special ability, get an Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon on the field with 2800 attack on the field, and then you can banish that Eclipse Wyvern and that Odd-Eyes Dragon from your graveyard to the banish zone, summon a Light Pulsar Dragon or a Dark Flare Dragon, and then utilize Eclipse Wyvern's ability, where since it got sent to the graveyard and you banished a dragon monster to your banish zone, you just add it to your hand, and it's just infinite combos, it feels like, and insane combos, it feels like, with Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this card being added to the game. On top of that, you can also consider trying this out in a Blue Eyes deck, because if you summon the White Stone of Ancients, you can tribute it off, special summon your Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon, and then on your end step you can summon a Dragon Spirit of White or Blue Eyes White Dragon, which would be really cool. So I like this a lot. This is an awesome effect right here, and I cannot wait to get Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon, because it's going to work really well in the Light and Dark deck, in my opinion. Now, the final SR card we're going to take a look at in today's box review video is this card called a Watch Cat. Easily one of the best cards from this box, because look, it's a literal cat. Let's go. And this card right here is a level 1 Earth Beast effect monster that states, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your end phase of this card with special summon this turn, you can banish this card. Set one continuous spell directly from your deck. You only can use each effect of Watch Cat once per turn. This card has 0 attack, 1800 defense. Not a bad card whatsoever. You can basically utilize this to search out for any continuous spell card that you need for your deck. This could work in a Dark Magician deck to search out for Dark Magical Circle. You can utilize this in an Infernity deck to search out for your Infernity, what was it called again? Launcher? Hold up. Oh, it was Launcher. I got it right. I wasn't feeling confident. Yeah, you can utilize this to search for Infernity Launcher. Really cool card right here. Definitely going to be a card to rock in Infernities and with other decks in this game. Watch Cat's a really cool card. Love to see that we're getting a Pussycat in this game, that is for sure, and I'm looking forward to trying this card out. Now, that is it when it comes to the UR and SR cards from this brand new box, but I gotta mention a few rare and normal cards that did pique my interest. For example, we have the retrains for Demise, King of Armageddon, and Queen of Armageddon. We got like these teenage versions of both of these cards in this box, which is really cool, so it's nice to see these cards in the game. Like we mentioned earlier, Odd-Eyes Dragon, the combo with Odd-Eyes Saber Dragon, these cards are both in the box, was really interesting. We have another card right here called Infernity Randomizer. Not a good Infernity card, but it's still an Infernity card from this brand new box to take a look at. We have some of these other Simorgh cards in the game that also boost up the deck a little bit. They're not as good as the SR and UR cards, but there's still some cards to consider adding against the Simorgh deck when we get them in the game. We have another Goki card right here. This guy doesn't really add much to the deck except for just being a 2000 attack beat stick, but it's still cool to see that we have a new Goki card in this box, that is for sure. We also have a bunch of Performance Pal cards in this game, which is one weird to see for the fact that we don't have Yuya Sakaki and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, so it's just weird to see all these Performance Pals get added to the game, because these could have easily been cards for Yuya if he got added into Duel Links, you know, years down the road, but we have them now, so that's neat, I guess. We also have some new For Hire support. To be honest, this For Hire support doesn't make the deck good, not whatsoever, but it's still cool to see that we got some For Hire support. The only For Hire card I would take a look at is probably Bravo Fighter For Hire. This guy's a really good 1900 beat stick that also boosts the attack of all the For Hires on the field, so that's cool right there. And then the last thing I'd probably just take a look at in today's box is this meme right here. We have Call of the Grave and we have Call of Darkness, both cards that counter Monster Reborn, because we definitely need cards that counter Monster Reborn. The card's too broken, right, boys? We need to get rid of those cards, that's for sure. But that's kind of it when it comes to today's box review. Nonetheless, though, that's going to be it for me in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. So far, I'm really liking this box. I don't think this box is for everybody, but it's still going to be a really good box compared to the previous mini box, that's for sure. There's a lot of decks in this box, and there's a lot of support for decks already in Duel Links that's going to get a huge boost thanks to this brand new main box, and I cannot wait to utilize my gems and my moolah on this brand new box for you guys. So be sure to stay tuned to my channel, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new so that you guys get notified when I do my pack opening and videos related to this box. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff right there, and I'll go see you guys next Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Adios, everybody, and I hope you guys enjoyed.